When you start anything, when you start out on a path to anywhere, whether it be to learn something new, to create a business, to become more in shape, the first step, the first day, the first minute, okay, you're excited. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna kick ass, right? And the next day comes and you're like, man, this is a little tougher. And then you take another step and another step. And maybe you get to Thursday or Friday and you're like, this is pretty hard, man. And then what happens is the enthusiasm from the beginning of the process starts to fade out.
There is no substitute for hard work. You show up, you clock in, you get done, period. And anything else is an excuse.
Motivation is a very fickle thing, and that successful people learn that you cannot rely on motivation. Successful people learn how to function with or without it every single day.
The same thing I do all the time. Go out there and do my best. Show up early, work harder than everybody else, be innovative, try to create, never be afraid to fail.
If you are doing the same thing you did yesterday, you're not improving. You're not changing your life. And it's about having one life, guys.
For some people out there that aren't feeling good, man, if you just fucking struggled more, you get over that struggle, you feel better. It sounds so simplistic, but I swear by it.
Every single person has a choice at every single moment. It may be just varying degrees of difficulty in those choices, but you always have a choice. You can always change.
You put in 120% every time, or you don't put in nothing, because listen to me very closely. Today, this opportunity you have, it might not be here next year. It might not be here the year after next. It might not be here the year after that. This is the only moment you got, and you better take advantage of this particular moment.
And in regards to laziness, I think it's a very important thing to understand that as humans, we have this ability to think that everything we experience, all the emotions, are very much unique to us. But you have to understand that every single person in the world suffers from the same problems. Everyone is by default lazy. It is the easiest thing to do. It requires no energy, no effort.
Time is not going to wait. So if you have 24 hours in a day and you're spending 16 at work, and if you have that one extra hour, whether it's you going through your social media, watching TV, spend it in the gym. Spend it on becoming better.
It's such an important thing to realize that every single person, me included, and every successful person you could think of, Elon Musk, he probably also would find it easy to be lazy, but he chooses not to be. It's a choice. It's an understanding that being lazy is just easy, and you don't want to take the easy path. The path of least resistance, the path that requires no effort, no energy.
In the beginning, everybody's excited. In the beginning, everybody's going to become a billionaire. In the beginning, everybody's going to conquer the world. But after a few weeks, a few months, maybe even a few years, they start to get tired. They start to get frustrated. They start to ask, why is this so hard? They start to ask, why is this so hard for me? And they think it's just them, and they think the whole universe is coming down on them. And that's when people quit. And guys, we all feel that way. We all have times of frustration. We all have times of anger. We all have times of why me? Why is this so hard for me? But at the end of the day, guys, when you start feeling that massive frustration, that massive anger, that massive irritation and massive stress, you are about to have a breakthrough. You are about to move through an area that most people can't make it through. And you've just got to keep moving. Because when you make it through that area, that's when shit gets fun. That's when you say, oh, shit, man, I'm actually doing this. I'm actually an entrepreneur.
Everybody feels lazy and demotivated. But it's the people who succeed are the ones who identify that first, and then the ones who start fighting it, and then the ones who figure out how to continue fighting it for the rest of their lives without falling back.
You got to be in command of your own schedule if you want to be the best.
Look at your schedule now. Pull it out. Look at your everyday life. Where are you spending your time? Is it more performance-oriented, or are you preparing for that day of performance? Or are you waiting for somebody to choose you? I don't want any waiting. I want practice, performance, training. Look at your schedule. It's a very simple exercise.
I tell you this, if success was just a joyride, there would be far more successful people. There's a reason that not many people achieve what they want to do and live the lives they really want to do, because it requires, you know, hard work is one thing, but it requires you to conquer yourself. You are the only one stopping yourself from doing whatever the hell it is that you want to do. There will always be excuses. You can always point fingers at someone else and say someone else has it better. At the end of the day, it's you who chooses to watch TV, to watch YouTube, to browse Facebook when you know you should be doing something else. Close those browsers. Turn the TV off. Go do something that you normally wouldn't. Start leading an unusual life. Don't fall into your patterns, your lazy habits. You gotta keep breaking the pattern, the routines, keeping things on the edge, changing your surroundings, always kind of like figuring out how to resist that urge to just like settle down and sit your ass down and lay down on the couch and just mindlessly watch Netflix.
That's so important in this life. This life doesn't have enough of that. There's not enough struggle. You don't get to know yourself without struggle. You don't get to know your boundaries unless you push them. You don't get to know who you are really unless you're tested.
If you sacrifice and make the sacrifices each day, then you'll see the gains, man. It's all about a mindset. It's all about sacrificing and being willing to go through what it takes, you know? And when I say that, I'm talking about discipline, the desire, the determination, the dedication.
The truth is, you don't have anything to give that you don't have. So you have to keep your own self full. That's your job. That your real work is to figure out where your power base is and to work on the alignment of with the real reason why you're here. That's the number one thing you have to do, is to work on yourself and to fill yourself up and keep your cup full. Keep yourself full. I consider it a compliment that I am full of myself, because only when you're full, I'm full, I'm overflowing, my cup runneth over. I have so much to offer and so much to give. And I am not afraid of honoring myself, you know? It's miraculous when you think about it. The ability to take care of that, to honor yourself and that which is greater than yourself, that which was the reason for your being here. Because only through that do you have the ability to offer yourself, your whole self, your full expression of who you are.
I can't control whether your husband or wife will live or die or get sick or leave you or get a divorce. I don't want any of that to happen to any human being. I hate suffering. I do anything I can to help people not suffer. But I can't control that. You can. There are people who have lost their arms, lost their sight. There have been people that have been through the most horrific experiences in life, and they found a way to still be happy because they've made the decision that life is too short to suffer. I've interviewed dozens and hundreds over the years, but dozens that like have impacted my soul, that made me realize I can change this. I've just gotten used to it. I've bought into the theory that this survival software that's constantly running and making you suffer, that's normal. No, that's what the mind will do. And mind has been around forever. What I'm gonna do is something different. And the way I get out of suffering, I give myself a 90-second rule. It's really simple. I say, look, if I feel myself starting to feel that stress, feeling that pissed offness or upsetness or concern or worry about my kid, whatever, I realize that's not gonna make it better. Life's too short to suffer. And then I just kind of breathe slowly, slow everything down, and I just watch the thought go by and go, look at that crazy thought. Because everybody's had crazy thoughts. Everybody's had the thought, I'm gonna kill that son of a bitch, right? And then you don't kill them because you don't believe that thought. It's the thoughts that are stressful that you believe that mess you up. When you question them, you break the pattern.
As Ernest Hemingway noted, the world breaks everyone, and afterward, many are stronger in the broken places. But my question is, why isn't everyone? To me, it comes down to the strategies that you use. There really isn't anything objectively good or bad. There isn't anything that happens to you that can't be overcome. There isn't anything that could happen to you, anything that when you turn inward, you can't find a reason to overcome. You can't find a way to put those pieces back together, and that becomes your job. It becomes literally up to you whether you're going to sit and wallow and woe is me, because what happened, happened, and there's no way to take it back. But how you respond, what you bring to that table, whether you meet fire with fire, whether you meet that adversity with falling apart, becoming weaker in the areas that broke, or you bind them and mend them, and it becomes like a weld that literally makes you stronger, is a choice. And it's a choice only you get to make. But as Stephen Hawking said, when you complain, nobody wants to help you. There are many things in your life that you have every reason to complain about. You have every reason to be upset by the things that have happened to you. The most sinister thing about excuses is they're valid. There's a million reasons why you should be able to give up. There's a million reasons why you shouldn't need to try. That thing that broke you, you should be allowed to just sit on the ground. And here's the thing, that's your right. You have every reason to do it. And maybe people won't even think less of you. But here's the truth. You either become weaker or stronger in the places that broke, and that's a choice of how you react moving forward. The great news is, the best thing that you could do to become stronger is love yourself. And as Kamal Ravikant said, loving yourself is a practice. People think that it's something that's gonna feel right, that it's gonna feel natural, that you're just gonna turn inward and there it is, this spark of love and joy for yourself, inside yourself. But the truth is, that's just not the human experience. That's not the way that it works. There's gonna be a voice inside your head and it's going to blame you. It's gonna say that it's your fault. And no matter how many times people on the outside tell you that that is not true, that this thing happened to you, that it isn't you, it doesn't define you, there will be a voice that's going to tell you that it does. And that's where you have to fall back on process. That's where you have to realize that you literally have to practice loving yourself, and that it's okay, that no matter what happened, there is absolutely nothing that invalidates that you're worthy of your own love. But you've got to practice it. You've got to be willing to do it. You've got to be willing to put in the reps. You've got to know that it's not going to feel right, but you've got to know on the other side of that is a vision of your life where you actually do love yourself. Because you took the time to say it. You took the time to practice it. You took the time to sit there and feel stupid and say that you love yourself. And sometimes just putting in the work is what you need to do to get strong. So put in the work.
Most people live the way they think other people think they should live. At the very best, that's going to be a bad trip. This is your life. Make it a phenomenal experience.
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us will ever taste. You know, it's something that truly exists in all of us.
You and I have an image of ourselves. It's how we see ourselves. I know there's a reflection come back from the mirror. I can see me. That's a reflection of my physical being. But that's not how I see me. I see me in my mind. And it's based on information that I have on me. Some people have a lot of false information, so they've got a very false self-image. Anything that you're going to do is dependent on how you see you.
If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger. And you don't know what the upper limits to that are, because you might ask yourself, like, if for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, what would you be like?
There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
What would happen if, for some reason, we ignore somebody unlocked 100% of the cerebral capacity?
100%?
Yes.
I have no idea.
The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it. It's very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it. Period. I want to represent the idea that you really can make. I just believe that. I believe that I can create whatever I want to create. Make a choice, right? You just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. If you are not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time.
I know right now you're listening to this because you want motivation, you want to be inspired, but my greatest fear is that you'll get motivated, you'll get inspired, and that'll just be a declining arc for a few minutes after you listen to this video that ends with you doing nothing. And what I want, what I really hope for, and the reason that I give myself over to making these so completely is I know some percentage of you on the other side of this will ultimately be prepared to take that first step. You will realize that the only thing that matters is action, and you will take that action. And it's in that action that your potential greatness waits. And as Martin Luther King said, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. You've just got to believe that you can learn. You don't have to believe that you're already capable of doing what you want. You don't have to believe that you can already build that thing that you dream. You don't have to believe that you already are extraordinary. You simply have to believe that if you take that first step, you put yourself on a journey not of execution, you put yourself on a journey of learning so that you can execute. And that, when you understand that difference, that's when you really will be on that path to greatness. And that is the thing that I want for everybody listening to this. Please understand, the only thing you need to know is that you have to take the first step. Whatever the vision is that you have for your life, you absolutely can make it come true. And the process is very simple. The process is about learning. The process is about growing and getting better. It's about recognizing what you're not good at. It's about recognizing what you have to learn. It's about taking that first step on faith. On faith that you can get better. Not on faith that you're great. On faith that you can become the greatest of all time. And once you have that faith, once you know that simply being a human being puts you in this rare category of creature that can get better through pressure, through pain, through difficulty, through failure, those are the things that are going to be the building blocks of your success. But in order to begin on that road, in order to have your first glorious failure, you must first take that first step. So please, don't waste your time being motivated or inspired. Spend every second of your time moving forward. That's how you're going to get where you want to go.